Previously on Adventures in Questing.
I'm Merchant Lord Marquand. Unfortunately, my lumber mill has ceased operations.
Every book I've read, anyone who goes into really scary forests, they don't really go well.
When I was very young, I was picked up by some pirates. The Children of Boss, that's what they're called.
Thora and I were also raised at sea. Our parents recently passed away.
Looking down, there is a horse laying dead on the ground, and a humanoid of some kind laying dead and still pinned by the body of the horse. There's also a small scroll case depositing it onto your palm. A folded piece of paper hits your hand.
Mr. Jessin Vidru, I've enclosed the first half of your payment in the envelope, the other half to be delivered upon your delivery of the piece. What is the piece?
You reach in, pull it out. It is like a half circle of very finely carved dark stone with a series of glyphs along the edge.
What's your name?
Dove.
We heard about a forest that's, something's wrong there. Do you know what's going on?
Some level of corruption. The forest is sick. You can see two large shapes diving towards you. I need everybody to roll initiative.
Top of the order is Cora. These guys are flying in at you. They are roughly 10 feet above the ground right now.
Okay. I am gonna hold my action until one is within striking distance of me. I will move just so I'm a little bit closer to them, but still close to my people.
Okay.
Get that sneak attack.
Pim.
Are they on the ground?
No, they are flying. They are about 10 feet up right now.
I'll stay where I am and then attack with my light crossbow on them.
Okay, make an attack roll. You pull out your light crossbow. First combat of the game. Nice.
Yeah.
The fighter.
21.
21 hits. Roll for damage.
5 points of damage.
5 points of damage. Do you want to move at all?
I am going to move towards those rocks.
Okay.
And be concealed behind them.
Yep, and you just duck behind those rocks.
Yep.
You're like, you run over to the rocks. Perfect. It's the vulture's turn.
Oh boy.
This vulture, this one that was just hit with a crossbow bolt by Pim, is going to alter course. Is going to fly right over to Pim, and is going to make an attack at Pim. He's going to make a beak attack and a talon attack on him.
Oh no.
That's a natural 20.
No,
Pim.
Oh.
For the first attack, and the second attack is
Go back to being squishy.
10 against AC.
16.
Okay,
Hey.
so it doesn't hit you.
Hey.
The first one hits you for 7 points of piercing damage.
Oh.
Just kind of, you get stabbed with this horrifying hooked beak. Everyone has seen a photo of a bearded vulture, right?
Yeah.
That is what
Yeah.
the giant vultures look like. These feathered heads with these black trails coming off the beak, and these just horrifically hooked beaks. Kind of pecks at you, and you kind of take the beak, and as it slashes at you, you manage to completely duck underneath the talons. The second vulture is going to fly straight towards Cora and get within striking distance, so make that attack, Cora.
Oh, yeah.
And you do have an ally in the form of Layla within 5 feet,
Yes,
so you get
I
sneak
do.
attack. That's if you hit.
Okay, 16?
16 hits, roll for damage.
Sweet. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Okay, so that's 5 plus 3 is 8 plus 6 is 14.
14 points of damage. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. What is that? Jesus. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
I stabbed it
You guys
with my
see
rapier.
Cora whip that with your rapier?
Yes.
Cora whips out this very cool rapier and does a fucking swashbuckling maneuver and just stabs in as it's kind of coming for Layla. But beforehand, that was just triggering your reaction.
Yeah.
So now it is going to make first a beak attack on Cora, and it rolled a natural 1.
Cool.
And it's going to make an attack on Miss Layla. Shield. Okay, hell yeah. That was 15 against your AC, but then your AC just went up by 5, correct?
Yeah.
That's what shield does?
Yes.
So what's your AC now?
18.
18. So the talons come in, and you guys see tiny little Layla throw up the shield. Roll a d20.
Oh no.
Oh.
13.
Okay. Then nothing happens. You are fine. Okay.
I love this.
Dove's turn. Dove kind of sees everything that's kind of happening, and he pulls the staff back off of his chest and shoulders and shoves it back in the earth. And he kind of cricks his neck a little bit, and he starts to kind of grow. and he transforms into this like half man, half bear. This like blonde, dark blonde fur all over his chest and torso. His hands kind of extended to these long claw, like a mixture between a bear paw and a human hand. And he has a full-on like bear head, and he just kind of and is going to run.
Nice.
Oh my god.
Right over here at the vulture.
That was unexpected.
And is going to make an attack, and yep, that's going to hit. And you kind of throw up the shield, Layla, and all of a sudden this gigantic hairy figure kind of pounces on the vulture, and you see as it holds the body, it rips a wing and like the neck and head clean off the body of the giant vulture and just deposits it down into the ground as the vulture just lifelessly hits the dirt.
Wow.
Kind of roars at it again. He's a werebear. Okay.
I'm a werebear.
A what bear?
A werebear.
A who bear?
A Y bear. Okay, Layla, it is your turn. This guy is dead. D-E-D, he dead.
Layla's gonna see that and then turn towards the other vulture.
Okay.
And roar and run towards.
Okay. You start running. What's your speed?
30.
You start running at the other vulture who's attacking your buddy Pim.
And then I'm gonna shoot a firebolt at it.
Firebolt. Okay, make the attack roll. And you got
Unnatural
it there,
20.
buddy. Unnatural 20 hits. Roll for damage. 2 points of damage.
Yeah.
Okay, you kind of, and this little mode of fire, and the bird kind of turns and just squawks at you really, really loud.
She goes,
Amazing. And Firebolt is a cantrip, correct?
Yes.
Raiden, it is your turn.
okay, I'm gonna come up here between the birds and the little girl, and I'm going to pull out my my pike. I'm gonna like spin it above my head a little bit and slice into him.
Oh yeah, because you've got reach.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, make an attack roll.
Okay.
21 hits,
Yeah.
roll for damage.
All right.
Yeah, you guys see Raiden kind of Oberyn Martell swing his pike around and
very
take a
good.
slash.
That's 10 points of damage.
10 points of damage. You kind of cut into it, kind of you open up the bucket of blood just flies out. Is that your turn?
Yeah, that's my turn.
Okay. Winnie, as you're getting ready to go, you hear and another vulture starts diving in over here. And it is your turn, Winnie. What would you like to do?
No, no. I think Winnie's like, ha, ha, ha. It's like kind of freaking out a little bit. And then she's going to run behind this rock by the one that just landed because it seems like there's enough people over here. And I'm going to cast Witch Bolt.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's going to go and she's going to like lock on. And she's going to be like, oh, God. Like
Okay.
as she's
Make
going,
the,
she's like,
is
oh,
it an
no.
attack roll?
Yeah.
Okay, make an
I
attack
think.
roll.
Ooh, that's an 18.
18 hits. Roll for damage.
Stibbin'.
7 points of lightning damage. Jesus, that's awesome. Okay.
Yep, and she's just going to lock on.
And the
Yep.
vulture kind of,
Yeah.
kind of freaks
Oh my
out a little bit. Okay. Thora.
Cool. I'm gonna run over to this one here. Got my brother hit.
Okay.
Gonna smack him with my maul.
And I smack him with the hammer.
17.
You guys see Thora kind of like, kind of roar in a roar like equivalent to what Dove just fucking did, and she pulls out her big hammer and runs forward. What was your attack roll?
So that's 17.
Yes, now roll for damage. And you can add the +2 for your rage damage.
13.
13. You, like, the vulture kind of like, you just completely crush it underneath your hammer, and the blood just kind of sprays all over you, and a little bit gets on Pim. Pim's like, ah! As you get a little bit of vulture on you. All right, Doc. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna pull out my crossbow and point it at this motherfucker over here.
Hell yeah, shoot that motherfucker over there.
12.
12 hits, roll for damage.
4 points of damage.
4 points of damage. Okay, yep, you pull out your little crossbow, fire it off at the vulture, and continues flying. Cora.
I am going to run as close as I can get to the new one,
Okay.
and again hold my turn until it's in within
Until
my
it's within
range.
range. Okay, Pim.
He's going to take off his glasses and clean the blood off them. And then he's going to put it back on and then like run his hands through his curly hair and then pull out the crossbow and make an attack against that one.
Okay, make an attack roll. It's like, ew, gross.
14.
That hits, roll for damage.
5.
5 points of damage. Kind of fire off.
And he's gonna go duck behind that rock.
Okay, you go here, and a fourth
Aw.
vulture swoops in down
Bastards.
here. 5, 10, 15, 20. Is going to swoop down in here to Thora. Going to make an attack roll. 2 attack rolls, seeing you crush its friend. 12 against AC.
No.
You kind of push back the beak. Second attack isn't also going to hit, so it swings at you, and you just fight off this vulture. This one's swooping this way. You can make an attack if you'd like.
Got him.
Cora.
Well, I don't know if I got him yet. Let's find out. That's a nat 20.
Oh, hell yeah.
These dice,
You don't get to add sneak attack dice, but
pretty
you
happy.
do get the regular rapier dice.
Right. Because I don't have the thing yet where when I'm in single combat, it's sneak
No, that's
attack.
that's third
That's
level.
third level. Okay, but I do get my dice. Okay, 9 total.
9 total damage. Yeah, you kind of slice this and it just hits the ground in a cloud of dust and just lays completely dead.
Sweet.
You gutted it. Alrighty, it's Dove's turn. He is going to back up and just hold his action if someone gets too close to the cow. Layla. Oh, this one's dead. No, this one is dead. Sorry.
She's gonna run over to that one with her quarterstaff, and she's gonna use green flame blade.
Okay.
Which basically just hits, like if it hits, green flames erupt from it.
Okay. Like a spell. Is it a spell attack roll or is
So
it a
I
regular,
just rolled
a regular
attack
melee
roll.
attack?
And I'm gonna give myself advantage with Tides of Chaos.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm gonna mark that you did that.
21.
Hits. Roll for damage.
Cool. 7 points of damage. 2 points of I think bludgeoning, and then 5 points of fire damage.
7 points of damage.
Yeah.
And that was a first level spell, right?
No, that was a cantrip.
Oh, it was a cantrip? Okay. Because I can only make you roll the surge when you cast a first level spell.
Yeah.
But you have one in the I have one for you in the bank, bud. Okay.
That can just happen anytime?
Yep.
Oh.
Anytime he casts a first level spell or higher. Right in.
Okay, I'm going to come right up to this vulture and kind of push Thora back a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm going to plunge my rapier into its beak.
Okay, make an attack roll. That's right.
16.
16 hits, roll for damage.
Okay, 8 points of damage.
8 points of damage. Okay. And that's it.
That's my turn.
Okay, Winnie.
I think she's gonna look. She's gonna do the exact same thing. She's gonna be like, oh no,
worked.
where do I go? But she's holding. She still has her thing out. I think her thing out. She still has she's still holding Witch Bolt technically, but the thing died.
The thing died, so it's done.
So she's gonna creep behind this rock a little bit.
Okay.
And then she is going to cast Firebolt at this
Hell
bird.
yeah, roll the attack.
She's gonna. It's a 16 plus a 6.
Hell yes, roll for damage.
No, 3. And if it is flammable, it ignites.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Birds are flammable.
And the bird kind of, and then some of its feathers start to catch fire, and it's kind of like, kind of freaking out a little bit, and you're just kind of like, just cut that bird on fire. Thora.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take a step back.
You're like, okay.
Okay. And attack it with my maul. That's a natural.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Oh, bye, birdie.
Roll for damage, very good. Roll for damage. You double all the dice, but you don't double like the +2.
That's 19 points of damage.
Yeah, Thora, finish it.
Hell yeah.
So I think she's, I think she like looks at her brother and is like, okay. And I think she gives her maul like a spin and then just poof right onto its head.
Just,
Yeah.
it just kind of explodes a little bit with the force of the drive and the rage.
Then gets blood on his glasses.
Put the glasses back on. Okay. No, you can't. Layla definitely gets a little bit of blood on her, as does Raiden.
I think she licks her.
She kind of, and the vulture lays dead on the ground.
Raiden's gonna be like, show off.
You guys kind of look back over the cow is kind of struggling and getting back onto her feet and kind of nudging the calf, and you see Doe kind of shrink back down into his
How did you do that?
Still huge.
still huge human form.
I'm giving you a high five, by the way.
Talk about a bear. Am I right?
Wow.
Did you say that to anyone in particular?
No, just in his head, but also
All right.
shared with the audience.
Thor's gonna
It's like a soliloquy.
Okay, short soliloquy, but
Very short. Hey, audience, we're all actors. If you couldn't tell, there's been a Bye Bye Birdie reference and a soliloquy reference in the last 2 minutes.
The shepherd's crook kind of flies back and he catches it, puts it back over his shoulders.
Sir?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
It's just something I've been able to do for a while.
Can you teach me? I want to be scary.
I think you're plenty scary how you are.
Have you seen these vultures before? Like it just looks like you're maybe familiar with them.
Oh, they're attracted to blood and that sort of thing.
Do you normally fight them all off by yourself?
Normally, yeah.
Wow.
But helps when there's some passers-by, I guess. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Gives a little nod to the cow and the calf, and they start walking up to catch up with the now very distant herd.
So, we're headed that way toward the forest, and do you know anything else about the corruption that's happening? Have you heard anything?
I don't really step into cities. That's not really my scene. From what I could tell, this forest seemed corrupted, cancerous, almost like raw, like an exposed nerve.
How can we protect ourselves going in there?
Don't go in there, I suppose.
Well, what if we have to, because we're getting paid a lot of money to do it?
I'll just say this. If the forest itself is corrupt, then the very act of just entering the forest is a danger. Ancient beings roam these woods. They might have been angered, or perhaps something particularly nasty has just moved in. I don't know. I don't have a lot of information for you. Apologise.
We might not even have to go in there. Who knows?
Not much of a detective.
That's true.
More of a shepherd.
And where do you go with your herd?
Wherever they take me.
You just roam around?
Yeah, suppose so.
I can understand that.
Well, he kind of like looks off at the herd. To catch up was it was good to meet you, I suppose. I don't really know any of your names.
I'm Raiden.
I'm Layla.
Cordelia.
I'm Winnie. Sorry, Cora.
Him, and then he puts out his hand with the crossbow. Oh.
Reaches out and just clasps your hand in his fucking gigantic hand. Kind of shakes your hand. Don't see many halflings outside of their hovels. It's good to see some out in the world.
I agree, thanks.
What was your name?
Thora.
Well thought, Thora.
You too.
Doc.
All right. Maybe I'll see you again sometime.
Yeah, if we make it back alive.
Okay, well,
Damn.
Well, I'm just saying, we're going
fun.
somewhere
It's good
dangerous.
fight.
We might all die.
Gives you a nod. He kind of takes a second to kind of, his hair kind of came loose when he transformed, so he kind of pushes a bunch of it up into, bunches it up and.
Is that all happening?
Everyone's just like,
that's also
Why are you
a
making
two
those
audience
noises?
moment.
Yeah, and he strides off. Kind of, he's got just kind of this like kind of very easygoing, kind of like a loping grace.
God, that's a beautiful man.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Agreed.
It was very scary. I liked it.
Yeah. Shall we, onward?
Onward and up.
I want to just watch him go a little bit longer.
Why?
Toward the money.
Okay, let's
Winnie.
go. It's
a
Toward
good
the money.
view.
Come
That's
on.
a great view.
It
Thora.
is the same view. He is just in it now.
Exactly.
I climb back
You
into
climb her back up into the wagon
the
and
cart and
continue on.
Yeah.
That horse was like the whole time just like,
I know, I was
what
just
the
thinking
fuck?
that.
We need to take
So
care of
I know, I forgot we had a horse.
Oh god.
Oh my god, one of these days Max is just gonna like destroy our horse and we're gonna have it coming, honestly.
We never take
Yeah,
care
how's
of
our horse looking?
He's fine.
Watch that be.
I'm assuming that you guys let him graze at night and unhitch
Yeah.
him from the cart. I would
Yep.
assuming as a farmer that you would know to do that.
Yep, sure
Okay.
do.
You guys continue along the road, and after that pretty eventful noontime,
Yeah.
you find a bluff and actually can see off in the distance, even though it's growing very, very dark, another kind of, like the hill kind of dips back down again, and down below you can see a forest that goes to the horizon. You cannot see where it ends. Doc, you would probably recognize that as the Moorwood Forest, and you can see this huge river running along kind of the edge of the Moorwood Forest, and way down, probably still several miles away, the sun is about to go down, but you can see way off in the distance, built on the banks of this river and bordered by the river, the prairie to the west, the river to the east, and there's a bit of forest that you can see very clearly turns eventually into the Moorwood to the south. And even from here, that little patch of forest to the south, like the leaves, and it's spring, the leaves are like black. And there is clearly like a mist coming up through like the canopy of the forest. And way down below you can see that little town that you can only assume, judging from your map, is the town of Threshold.
And is the river the border to Vester?
Yeah, crossing the river you would go into the Moorwood Forest, which is technically in Vester, but is considered sovereign territory for the Wood Elves. So do you guys want to camp here on the bluff and then go down in the morning, or do you want to push on a couple more hours through the night and get into the town?
I think it might be good to go into town.
I think so
See
too.
what's happening.
You guys want to keep on going through the dark?
Can we see lights in the town?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
There-
it seems
you
to-
can see it's not a large
it's
town.
not, like, dark.
And you can actually see from a distance. You can see the little mill that you saw in the miniature in Marquand's house.
Okay.
That there's no lights going on there.
Okay.
But you can see
But the
lights
town
in what you would
doesn't seem
assume
to
are
be, like-
the residences. There's several farms off in the distance. But the main town, you can see like lights in what you would assume is probably like the tavern, and you can see like a little temple of some kind from this distance. Yeah.
So we don't have to go through the forest to get to the town.
No, you go through the prairie.
Cool.
You want to push through?
Let's just go for it.
I agree.
Get this over with.
Okay, you guys head on through.
I love this job.
Who's driving the horses?
Pim, I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, Pim. Because you're driving in the dark, make an animal handling check, but with disadvantage.
8.
Okay, everything seems fine. A little dark though.
Wait, was I making a perception or animal handling?
Animal handling.
Okay.
You're kind of driving the horse, and the horse is nervous because it's night. And you continue kind of rattling down the road. A couple of hours pass, and you start passing like little farmhouses. None of the lights are on in these farmhouses or barns, and you don't see any livestock in any of these farms. It is nighttime. They could just be sleeping. And as you continue along the road, you eventually reach. You can see off in the distance this large curving sign that says threshold that's been painted on some wood. It says last stop before Vester, and then preceding the gate are like spikes, like large 6-foot tall spikes that are sticking straight up out of the ground, and shoved onto those spikes, probably up like through like the midsection and then up like the back of the neck, are 6 humanoid-looking figures that are just kind of like hanging on the pipe, like on the spikes. And as you approach and get a little bit closer, you see all of these individuals are vaguely female, but they don't resemble any humanoids you recognize. All of them have bark-like skin and like green or brown or red or purple hair that almost looks like curtains of leaves or like pine needles that's like draping over their shoulders. And they're all bleeding. Like you can see like where like the wounds would have been is like sap instead of blood. And they are just kind of sitting up on those spikes as you kind of are driving through.
Can I see if I know anything about the humans?
Yeah, roll a nature check. Or just actually an intelligence check. They actually, as you were looking closer, don't seem humanoid. You don't have advantage, sorry.
So I rolled a 10, but plus 0, so 10.
Okay, looking at them, I think as a doctor, as a PhD, these appear to be dryads, like a woodland fae spirit that is usually associated with a forest or a specific tree or a region or something like that. 6 of them.
Maybe that's why the forest is angry.
The people think killing their spirit.
The dryads.
How can you kill a spirit?
Like that.
You put it on the spike, I guess.
That was Jaden laughing. That was a morbid thing to laugh at, but it was funny.
Kind of driving through the gate, you can now see the river on one side and the forest is on the other. And as you ride into town, you can see there's a large tavern that seems to be called the Smiling Salmon. To the right, you can see this dark forest, and every once in a while, you hear this coming from the forest that kind of like echoes and like bounces off of the trees. Or you hear like these strange sounds kind of coming from the trees and coming from the dark forest that has like the blackened leaves. There seems to be just a mist not only coming through the canopy but like hanging in the forest itself to the point where you can't see past the first line of trees into the forest. And as you kind of drive through, are you guys heading towards the tavern, or... You can see a tavern, you can see a building that seems to be marked Sheriff's Office. You can see a large temple, and then that's pretty much it. You can see a stable.
And it's pretty late at night.
It's...
At this point?
No, it's just like a few hours after dusk.
But like, the sheriff would probably be closed.
It looks like the sheriff's office is closed. It looks like the tavern is still going.
Okay.
Outside the sheriff's office are 2 more spikes with dryads shoved onto them.
We go to the tavern.
Yeah.
Yeah, for now.
As you kind of are approaching the tavern, you pass a large temple that looks like it has been made out of stones just stacked on top of each other with an open roof. Like the doorway is wide open. There's not a door. Looking through, it looks like there isn't a roof, like it's open to the heavens. You can't see into it very well. But beyond, like right by the temple, is a path of paved stone that snakes around the temple from the main road and then goes off and into the forest. As you continue along, you come to the Smiling Salmon and pull the cart in, and you can hear, there's no music coming from inside the tavern, but the lights are very clearly on, and you can hear people like talking, but very quietly.
Ooh.
It is very eerie and dark and cold somehow here. You have moved up in elevation a little bit, but it's still springtime.
But there were no symbols or signals, maybe is a better word, for us to, like, it didn't seem like people wouldn't be welcome in this town.
Seems like a town.
Okay.
Maybe if we were dryads, we would feel differently. Well, shall we go in?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys hop off the hop off the cart and
I'm gonna tie the horse to like a post or something.
okay.
Nice.
You walk up the stairs and kind of open the doors to the tavern, and people kind of look at you as you kind of approach and kind of go back to their meals and their drinks. There's like talking, but it's all kind of like low grumbling. Most of these guys seem to be farmer types. A lot of them seem to be surrounded by their families. You actually see like a mother type like carrying a child up to some stairs that seem to go up to the second or third level. But you do see there are some militia types in like some leather armor talking to a halfling woman with a mane of gray hair that's kind of been pushed back, who's just kind of got like a scar that like crosses from here all the way down, like past her collar. She's kind of chatting with some people. You can see there is a bartender who is a tall human who's just fixing some drinks and kind of looks up. Can I help you?
Hi there. We're just passing through, like a few drinks. I would at least.
Absolutely. Do you require accommodations for the night?
Yeah, how many rooms do you have?
Kind of looks around at these families that are sitting at tables. We're a little booked up. We have 3 rooms still available.
That's fine.
Good. All right, how much?
3 silver per person.
All right, I got it. I'll take care of it. How much is that total in gold?
There are 7, so there's that's 21
So 2
silver
gold and 1
pieces.
silver?
So 2 gold and a silver.
Okay.
Kind of takes it. And whiskey, ale. He's got like bags under his eyes.
A glass of milk, please.
Oh, a child.
Is that okay?
I'm actually less surprised to see children in here than I normally would be. Kind of gestures at some
Yeah,
of the
they're
kids that are with the families.
quite a lot.
Kind of reaches down and pours you some milk.
I'm gonna give him an extra gold. Hey, what, if you don't mind my asking, what are all these farm folk doing around here?
Roll a persuasion check with advantage.
Good. Unnatural 20.
Okay, he kind of leans in.
Can we all hear this?
Yeah. A few weeks back, there was an accident at the mill. About 13 people died. The whole level collapsed.
Do you know how it collapsed?
Well, people later found that the wood had been rotted. Our priest deduced that it was probably through some level of magic because the mill had only very recently been renovated. And we actually saw about 3 dryads fleeing the scene after the incident. And we tried to, I work the tavern, but the main level of commerce here is the mill. The town sprung up around the mill. And forests, people started going in to chop down trees and, bring in lumber for the mill. And people stopped coming back. People started hearing sounds, strange howling. Anyway, people have been going missing for the last couple of weeks as they go into the town, as they go into the woods. So we stopped. All the workers stopped working. Sent the last shipment of lumber. No one's gone into the woods to chop anything down for a little while. Sheriff reckons that the local dryads have declared war or something and put out a bounty for any dead dryads that can be brought, thinking that maybe kill enough of them, they'll stop. They'll be driven away. To be honest, a lot of people's livelihood since the forest stopped, people are living on very little right now. A lot of people live in here right now pro bono. A lot of the farmers don't feel comfortable having their families out in the wilderness.
Have they attacked the farms at all?
A couple of chickens and pigs were slaughtered right around the time of the accident, and a couple of kids have gone missing. That was again very early on. So a lot of the farmers are just living here, and just kind of letting them live. Not a lot to live on. Don't get paid great. They don't get paid great anyway. And since the mill has stopped running, they've stopped getting the payment.
What about these dryads? Did any of them confess what they've done?
The sheriff has led some hunting parties, and other people have gone out scouting around the woods, leaving bait. We can't really speak their language, but every time that they've been encountered, I suppose they've been pretty vicious and tried to kill the party as well. We've gone out. Only a couple of people have died trying to bring in the dryads. The priest actually thinks that we have a holy tree in the forest. It's a totem to our god of this forest, Glen Valen. To be fair, we stopped worshiping at it a while before the accident.
Why, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't really know. People worship the gods they worship. Holy Tree was here before we got here, and we prayed to the Lord of the Forest, I suppose. I'm not a particularly religious man. The priest believes that we should make pilgrimages into the forest and try to make amends with our God, and that perhaps he is the one who is sending the dryads. But various people agree. She's kind of she's kind of a kook, kind of a kooky old lady.
Have they changed to a different god, or
What?
they've just stopped worshipping Glen Valen? But is there a different god that people are worshipping now?
People worship different gods of the harvest and things like that. This god is something more ancient.
Right.
probably that tree's been here several ages ago. It's very old and large, but no one's been there, obviously, since the incident, and anyone who has gone into the forest hasn't come back, and so the priest is trying to push us into making that pilgrimage, but not a lot of people are feeling confident about that.
Where does Glen Valen reside?
We don't really, people say that they see him, but he's the forest. At least the way the legend goes. We have a shrine to him, a temple that Mother Dola tends and, maintains, but we are a cursed town, and our livelihood has been taken, and while I can charge strangers for room and board, I am feeding a lot of people out of my own pocket right now. It is good for some paying customers to come by, and he kind of tries to force a little smile.
Well, hopefully your fortune turns around soon.
Hope so. I'm sorry to unload. This tavern is very well maintained and it's very clean and is devoid of all horrors. People have been very comfortable here while they've been staying. I'm sure you will have no trouble, and if you leave, I'm assuming you're moving through town, you can leave during the cover of daylight, which seems to keep maybe whatever's in that forest at bay. Are you moving on? Are you just on your way through Vesta?
We may be here for a couple of days.
Just to rest.
We've been riding for a while, so.
I would be careful on the road. I assume you've heard what happened with Vesta and Oster.
No, what happened?
I can only say what I've heard. Apparently every year, we're not a part of the kingdom. Apparently every year there is a peace summit of sorts between Vesta and Oster. Not that they were warring, but a time for the Empress of Vesta and the King or Queen, I suppose, of Oster to meet together in neutral territory and discuss issues that they're having and how they can help each other as two of the human kingdoms. Anyway, there was some sort of explosion, and the Empress and the King were both killed.
Of Vester?
The Empress of Vester and the King of Oster were both killed quite suddenly in the explosion, as well as their retinue, large number of their relations and knights.
Do we know their names?
The Queen, the Empress, I don't know their names. I'm not a part of the kingdom. I have to hear what people have been telling me. Anyway, I suppose Oster and Vester have always had a tense relationship. Oster was, after all, once a part of the Vester kingdom. Anyway, Prince has, I suppose she's Queen or Empress Allegra, has declared war on Oster and means to take them back under the wing and make them a part of the Vester kingdom again. So anyway, I suppose our neighbors are at war. A lot of mercenaries have been coming through.
Quite big
When
news.
soldiers are called away to battle, there's a lot of mercenary work to be had in kingdoms at war. Apparently there's a lot of fertile jobs, a lot of places out there in the next two kingdoms that will pay well, since the soldiers and militia are no longer in those towns.
Did you say, does anyone know what caused the explosion?
Queen Allegra, I believe, blamed it on Austrian insurgents, but the Austrians, I suppose, denied it. Anyway, a lot of mercs have been coming through, headed to find work. I suppose mercenaries are one of the only people who thrive in wartime. Anyway, I thought I'd warn you. On your trek east, be aware of that.
Right.
Whatever your business. I should go and attend to some of the other people, but...
Oh, here, I forgot to pay. I'm gonna give him an extra 10 gold.
Sir, this is...
I'm pretending that I forgot to actually pay, even though I did actually
Yeah.
pay. Kind of giving him 10 extra gold.
Gives you a nod and kind of sweeps it over, reaches under the bar and pulls out a ring of keys. And he puts 3 keys in front of you guys and nods. Goes and you can see him going and talking to some people. Doc, all of these people are farmers. There is one figure in the very corner of the room, kind of sitting kind of Aragorn style. In Fellowship of the Ring.
Love it.
It's a wood elf, cloaked in a lot of shadow. The way that the room is lit, she has found like a dark corner. And she is sitting on like a chair with her foot up on another chair and like kind of resting her elbow on that, the knee that's kind of cocked up. And she's dressed in just kind of like furs and leather. She has like dark brown skin and these brilliant green eyes that are glinting even though her face is almost entirely cast in shadow. They're glowing almost like a cat's eyes. She has these really long ears, longer even than Cora's, that are constantly like twitching with every sound and kind of swiveling to match like a loud sound. And her long hair is kind of dreaded and pushed up into several like braids and buns. And she's just kind of sitting there and she's just kind of holding a bowl of soup and she's just kind of watching you guys as she's eating it.
I love how Doc is the only one who sees this. She's just like, oh.
But yeah, you notice that, Doc, as you kind of are listening to this story. She's just kind of sitting eating her soup.
She's looking at us?
Yeah, and she notices you noticing her and just locks eyes with you and does not blink. I don't think you've ever interacted with a wood elf before. Roll a history check.
Oh, hello, dice that hate me. That is a 4.
Yeah, you don't know anything about wood elves.
You don't know anything about this.
Or I just don't remember. I'm like,
So you guys are just kind of at the bar.
I'm going to, I don't know.
Slight wave.
Kind of raises up her bowl of soup. There's like a little salute. Goes back to slurping. She doesn't actually slurp. It's very strange. When she eats the soup, there's no slurp.
Oh, what else magic?
Prestidigitation, no slurp.
I'm gonna check in with Thora. Hey, how you doing?
Fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll check in with you. It's kind of a weird little town. And
Yeah.
not a single attractive person here.
I mean, have we looked?
You guys can roll
That's the
perception
room.
checks if you want.
No,
It's a lot to assume for someone who hasn't made a perception check in a while around.
9.
Sorry.
16.
16 and 9. There are a lot of beaten down people in here who maybe are attractive when they're not so sad. But there is, sitting in a corner, a wood elf. Eating soup.
I feel like we're supposed
And
to talk about
she's
hot.
Should do it.
She's in like black leathers and furs.
I'm gonna say I didn't notice her.
You did not.
Right now, and I still don't.
I'm just gonna look over and give you a little smirk and like, and then I'm gonna walk over to the wood elf.
Okay.
Oh shit.
You start
gonna walk
walking
over
towards
to
you
it.
start walking towards the wood elf, and very casually she just kind of reaches, like she's got her leg up, kind of like this. She just reaches into her boot, and just pulls out a dagger, and she's just kind of holding it, kind of lazily. And she puts her bowl of soup down on the barrel next to her as you just walk towards her, and she's just twirling it in her fingers.
I'm gonna smile and sit down in front of her. Hey,
Uh,
what's your name?
She doesn't say anything.
I'm Thora.
Kielbasa.
Kielbasa?
You son of a bitch! It's the first session.
I genuinely thought you said kielbasa.
Kielbasa.
Kielbasa. Kielbasa.
Oh my god, if she wasn't a villain before, she is now.
What are you doing here?
She doesn't say anything.
Can I have a drink?
I do not drink.
Well,
You are the one who looks vaguely like you. Will not stop staring.
well, we are twins. It's something we share in common is we're pretty attracted to things that are attractive. So I don't think you can blame either one of us.
Her face is like a fucking mask. She's just staring at you. Yeah, Jade.
I wanna order a bowl of soup from.
Okay, you order a little
Okay.
bowl of tomato soup.
Yeah.
Tomato.
How much is this?
Hey, weirdos.
Copper.
All right, I'm gonna give him a gold.
Okay. She kind of. These people that you are traveling with, who are they?
My pals. We're from.
You was speaking to the bartender about the quest.
Yeah.
I wonder why that interests you.
Seems like something's going on, and we're trying to figure out what that is. Do you know anything about it?
Roll a persuasion check.
11.
I know a great many things. I do not share them with strangers.
Well, maybe we can become a little bit more friendly.
Hell yeah.
Just off in the corner with your soup.
What are you guys doing?
I
with this
haven't
Are you guys
seen
seeing
this
Thora speaking with this individual? I assume you would be.
Honestly, I think I'd probably, like, is there a dartboard or something? I'm just like...
No, it's quite boring in here actually.
There's
It's
nothing
quite dull.
fun to do? Any
No, and it's
cards
late,
or-
so everyone's just kind of like sluggish or they're going off to bed.
I think I'm just trying to like figure out what I might know or may have read about dryads.
Roll a just a basic intelligence check.
17.
Okay, yeah. So the things that you would probably know about dryads is they are usually connected to an area of a forest or a specific tree. They can be exceptionally dangerous when provoked. They also are known in many stories to like lure people away with like sweet little songs and like charming them and being very like sultry and alluring, and then like luring them off a cliff for fun. They are fae, which means that they are from another plane of existence, or like at least their origins long ago are from another plane of existence, and they are by their very nature as fae very, very difficult to understand and read and predict. But I think you do remember the majority of the stories being about them just kind of being these like beautiful forest spirits that like wander the woods but like aren't like bloodthirsty monsters or anything like that. You guys, as you actually are sitting there, that halfling with the gray hair that's been pushed back kind of swaggers up. Now, who all you might be?
I'm Layla.
Cordelia?
I'm Winnie.
You are?
Doc.
I ain't seen any like you before. Thought y'all were a myth.
Well, you see me now. Not a myth.
What are y'all doing in my town? I'm Sheriff Meredith Greymane, and I would like to know what y'all are doing here. You might have been able to tell from interviewing our bartender there and the state of things. This town is not exactly in its best state, and any newcomers, I would like to understand your business here. Nothing personal, I just need to check up. What are y'all doing here?
Well, we were just on the road, and this was the town we came upon when we needed to stop.
Y'all are blowing through? Just here for the night?
Well, we were thinking about staying for a couple of days. We're very tired and been traveling for a while.
Make a deception check.
Tim is like washing off blood.
Tim's like,
Like, yeah, and then like wounds.
Nat 20.
Nat 20. She just kind of nods. And
Yeah.
who's the child with?
Coming?
Oh, she's with us.
She kind of looks at the dragonborn, the gnome, the elf, the child, and the halfling, and the two air genasi. Kind of a motley crew, ain't you?
Yeah.
Out of game. Don't they like know that we're coming though? Like, didn't they give us a heads up that we could like talk to the sheriff? Did I make that up?
No, I mean he suggested that we talk to the sheriff and the priest.
Gotcha.
So I don't think it's like a secret.
I'm definitely not trying to like cover up like the fact that we like.
We're investigating.
Yeah, I think I just don't want to tell her where we came from.
No,
is
totally.
Or who
I
we
just
work
couldn't
for
remember
is what
if
I'm
it
trying
was
to do.
if it was that or if it was that like they were expecting people to come. I couldn't remember.
Yeah,
Marquand
you
said that
specifically
you could absolutely try, but he didn't mention whether or not you were expected. She kind of goes, well, I'm just going to, I'll be around about any questions, but keep your wits about you and stay out of the forest.
Yeah,
Right.
thanks.
Dark things in there, so it won't best be left alone till it's dealt with.
Who's dealing with it?
If you leave it alone, how is it going to be dealt with?
Well, I need you to leave it alone because y'all are strangers, and I don't need strangers' deaths on my conscience as top of the other deaths that I've already got on my conscience.
Oh no.
So we're
Are
trying
you
to
sure
deal
they're
with it.
dead? The ones that went in there?
Well, I don't know about those, but I do mean the ones that have died in attempts to solve this problem.
Like actually killed by the dryads, or?
That's right.
But people have gone into the forest and they've just not come back, but you don't know what's happened to them.
That's correct. But they have been missing for several weeks, which I think anyone who has explored the wilderness before or has spent a solid amount of time in the wilderness would tell you that that's never a good sign.
Right.
And they've been gone for more than 3 weeks, some of them.
I don't mean to pry, but the bartender mentioned that the mill collapsed recently.
Yeah, that seemed to be the first act of aggression from the beings in that forest.
How do you know?
Well, we saw a number of them fleeing the scene when the accident did happen and the creatures were killed. And I'm sorry, the people were killed. Dryads were reportedly in the scene. And several weeks later, there was another encounter at the border and a dryad attacked several of my men and we managed to kill before it could do any more damage and lost a man in the process. Then I put out the bounty for anybody who can bring him in. Figure I should reward people for trying to help the town out and bring us back so we can get the mill back and our people can start earning a little bit more. We don't have much of an industry here. That mill is, for a lot of us, everything. And we have tried to rebuild it, and it has been destroyed again and again every time with dryads being reported fleeing the scene.
Once you went inside the mill, did it seem like something that they could have done? What was the damage in the building?
Well, dryads do, from what I have heard and from what I have read, dryads do have some level of control over the forest and organic material such as wood. And every time we have repaired the mill, we have used, and believe me, we know lumber. It is our trade, and we have used strong, sturdy materials that have almost immediately rotted. That is not how wood normally works, especially when it is treated the way that we know how to treat it. I just wanted to check in and see who y'all were. Got any more questions for me? I do have an office across the road, and I am there most days if I am not helping someone out with a dryad spotting or something like that. You don't need to raise your hand. But
Sorry. What's gonna happen to this town if it doesn't work? Catching all the dryads and getting rid of them.
I am trying not to lend credence to that thought. I have not thought about it too. For a lot of us, this is our home, and it means a great deal to us. I suppose if push came to shove, we might have to flee. Though with the vast to the west and a country at war to the east and a forest full of murderous dryads and to the north murderous elves, and she kind of looks a bit of a glare to, and now you all can see her, the wood elf in the corner.
What's wrong with elves?
Not from around here, are you?
No, but I am an elf.
Nothing wrong with sea elves. I've met several that are very fine, outstanding people, and I'm sure that perhaps wood elves have some level of kindness in them as well, but if you're from this area, you know that there is one road taken to Vester, and it's this one, and that's because it does not cut through the moorwood. People who are not wood elves, who venture into that forest, rarely ever come out. When they do, it's in various states of dismemberment and disfiguration. Wood elves do not like people in their territory, it would seem. That's why there's a massive forest in the middle of the Vester Kingdom that is not technically a part of the Vester Kingdom. I'm not gonna go attacking her, which I think I've got my eye on her. Anyway, what I was trying to get at there is not a lot of possibilities on really any side, places to go. Anyway, I should get back to work. I got a patrol to get to. Enjoy your stay, I suppose, in the smiling sandwich. Kind of nod, turns away, walks away.
Hey guys, who was that?
That was the sheriff.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool.
I have some thoughts.
You guys hear very faint. And a little wasp lands on.
I'm gonna catch it.
Make a dexterity check.
I don't know why a wasp
18.
seems so unsettling to
18?
me right now.
You take a point of piercing damage.
I'm gonna Bruce Flame inside my hand.
You open up your hands and there's no wasp anymore. Because you crisped it.
Oh.
All right. What are your thoughts?
Well, so she said, is everybody here with us now, or are you guys still over with?
I was actually about to head over to the wood elf.
I'm
Okay.
still there.
From what I know about dryads, they're really not very dangerous unless they're provoked first. And I guess my first thought was, well, having a lumber mill next to a forest where there's a bunch of dryads who, their brothers and sisters are all trees, and they're all getting cut down and made into lumber, might piss off some dryads. So I guess what I'm wondering is, maybe they were provoked because all their brothers and sisters are being cut down. And,
How are we going to solve that problem, though? Are we going to move the dryads? Because, our job is to get the mill back up and running. And that involves cutting down trees. Kind of what a mill does, I think. So, if that's the thing, if they feel provoked by that, I don't know how, but I think if that's the route we want to take is preserving these guys' lives, then we're going to have to move them somehow, somewhere else, but don't know how well that's going to go.
We have to go to this holy tree.
Yeah, but why doesn't this happen everywhere there's a mill if there's these spirits and trees and they don't like it when the trees are cut down?
I don't know, I think Doc's onto something. I think the holy tree has something to do with it.
Let's go to the tree.
Yeah, let's go in the morning.
Reed. Laying on your neck.
I'm going to smack it.
The wasp falls down on the ground.
Huh. I'm going to go outside.
Okay, poke your head outside, it's dark.
Can I hear any buzzing?
Make a perception check.
Don't like where this is going.
9.
I think this wood elf lady has something to do with this.
I'm gonna go to the bartender.
Comes over. Yeah?
Do you have a bit of a wasp problem here?
We live near a forest. Wasps are a creature that dwells in the forest.
Yeah, but are there usually a lot inside in the?
Every once in a while, I suppose.
All right. Do I see any more?
No.
Buzzing around. It's just weird.
I think we should all get some rest and maybe try to find the priest tomorrow. And maybe go to the temple or, like Doc said, the holy tree, which I guess is in the forest. It doesn't seem super safe.
I think it's a good idea, but we got to keep our wits about us,
I can't say I'm too scared of a forest, but
We do something with our horse more properly.
What do you mean? You think I didn't tie it well enough?
People could take it.
I'm really good at
There is a stable. You did see a stable.
I was about to do a pickup line.
Oh, sorry. Do the pickup line, I'm sorry.
yeah, no, give it to us.
I'm really good at tying things up.
All right, but I still think people could take it.
I've seen you tie knots. You're not very good at it, actually.
You got me there, kid.
Thora, Kielbasa stands. She just walks past you. And heads for the door. She kind of stops. She is probably like 5'3". She just kind of stops for a moment and just kind of looks at all of you. Her eyes are a little they almost remind you of like deer eyes and how they're a little bit bigger than normal. And she just kind of surveys you with a slightly cocked head.
Are there any wasps on her?
Her ears just kind of twitching every once in a while with sound.
I give her a little wave,
She's almost looking past you guys, she's looking at you but almost staring kind of blankly. And you see her just kind of thoughtfully almost run her tongue over her teeth. And you actually see she has slightly sharper canines. And then she just kind of blinks back she just snapped back to reality or whatever and just walks past.
Can we
without saying
help
a word.
you?
She walks through the door, closes it behind her.
She was very strange.
Yeah. I'm gonna take my bowl of soup and chase after her.
What?
Okay, you open up the door with your bowl of soup, and you looking around, you can't see her.
You left your soup!
You hear, I ate every drop that I wanted. And you look up, and she's looking down at you from the roof.
I love her.
Well, got you another one for the road if you want.
I don't use roads. She vanishes from
Alright, cool line, but didn't mean literally, whatever. I go and I eat the soup.
You raise up a little thing to soup.
A bee?
Ah,
Okay, I'm gonna keep it on my hand and look at it a little bit.
Okay, it just is moving along the back of your hand.
Hey guys,
Yeah. What is up with the?
wait. Let's see where it goes. I'm gonna blow on it.
Flies away.
I'm gonna follow it.
You're following this wasp around it, lands on the counter, crawls around, seems to drink a little, spilled something. Flies over to some
I think
wood.
there were a lot of those in the forest.
Layla's
It's
gonna shoot a
just
fireball at it.
aimlessly, huh?
Oh my
Layla's
God.
gonna shoot a fireball
Okay, make an
at it.
attack roll.
Oh, this is a wooden building.
Margaret, this is.
17.
It's dead.
I do not like
Alright,
this.
Layla.
so they said that there's...
Flames indoors. Remember, you burned up some buildings before.
It was a focus.
Layla.
It hit it, did you
Hold
know?
on, Layla.
It
These
hit it.
people are super poor. We should just be careful with flames.
You look over and there's two farmers that are just staring at you with just looking between you and the Dragonborn, just what the fuck is happening in our town right now?
So, Winnie, you checked in with the bartender and they said that there's not a wasp problem or anything?
I didn't. Did I?
Nope, that was Cora.
Oh, sorry. Cora. Was that you? I overheard it from a distance.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little,
Yeah, he
occupied.
said he didn't
Anyway.
seem to think there was anything unusual.
Well, 3 wasps all coming at us at once. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just being paranoid.
I don't like it. I don't like bugs at all.
I'm not a huge fan of bees specifically, but
Those were wasps.
you got me there, kid. Wow, you're just bringing out all the stops, aren't you?
Would I like know anything about like wasps and their like connection to other
You can
shit?
roll a nature check.
That voice. I know it's back to Allie now.
But I didn't know anything about wasps.
I don't have like any 14.
14.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean wasps are insects that
Wasps
live
are fucking
in
wasps.
kind of papery nests that can be found in the hollows within trees or maybe in the eaves of roofs. They generally have a queen, and then there are a lot of drones that go around and gather
Welcome
up
to
pollen
the
and bring it back to
Adventures in
the
Questing
papery
podcast,
nest.
where we talk about bees.
Yeah, they're a part of the natural ecosystem. A lot eaten by birds.
Caitlin's over it.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool, so
I guess
just the
I meant,
usual.
I guess I meant in the
So you do know a lot about
lore
wasps.
of this world
Oh
and
no.
where we're at.
Yeah, you're like, well, that's weird. 3 wasps. But also it's warm in here. There's food.
Okay, so
It's just weird that like you pointed out the wasps. But
Yeah, that is weird.
I know, but like we can't.
yeah,
We
like,
can't be like, it's weird that we noticed 3 wasps.
yeah, like this wasp. All right, well,
Let me add this to my notes real quick.
just
wasp.
3 wasps.
Yep.
Put a little box around.
So what's the plan for tomorrow?
I like to go to bed.
Yeah, it seems like the plan is going to check out that tree.
Well,
oh, can we like huddle
Maybe
up?
we should talk to the priest first.
All right, talk to the priest. Go check out that tree. We got. We
tree?
should be. There's like a
Holy
Holy
tree.
like a holy tree or something.
like
Like
holes
a
in these
Okay, so I
sacred
wasn't here
tree.
when you guys found that out.
Yeah, for sure.
Who is putting holes in trees?
It's holy like the gods. Like very...
Sacred.
Okay.
It's very
We're
special.
also
Just
gonna go
learning
check that
everything
out.
about the world with just the best teachers.
Yeah.
See if we can deduce anything from there, and then if
Cool,
we
we're
don't,
gonna deduce. We're like real detectives.
yeah, if we don't get anything from that, maybe go check out the myth too. Maybe see any clues we can find, anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound like a plan?
Yeah, there's some options in there.
All right. Well.
Do you have
I'm
another
gonna-
idea,
I just
Winnie?
Yeah. Is there anything
No, I
else
just
you
mean
wanna?
tomorrow's another day, so we should just wake up and reevaluate and see what the best order of events would be.
So cute.
Isn't it better to have a plan?
I think it's a great tentative plan. I'm not trying to be contrarian here. I'm just saying I think that in the morning we
Those are
reevaluate.
very Big words. You just didn't know what to
Sorry. What about if in the morning there's 50 wasps in the bar and we have to reevaluate which direction we take our day? Okay, maybe. Anyway,
Maybe that's another thing we reevaluate in the morning.
I'm turn to you. I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah.
You guys are going to bed?
I'm gonna go to bed too.
I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I guess so.
Are you guys taking the horse to a stable?
Yeah.
Or are you going straight to bed?
Yeah.
Okay, take the horse to a stable. It looks like it's like a help yourself kind of thing, and there's like a little
DIY stable.
there is like
yourself
there's a
stable.
place to like store carts and stuff, and a place to stable your horse, and there's also a till that's like leave a silver for storing your horse here.
Okay.
Do you leave a silver?
Help yourself.
Honor system.
Yeah.
What an honest
glad.
boy.
This is my birthday.
All right, you guys are all going up into your rooms. You only got 3 rooms, so who's sleeping?
Sleep with my brother.
I'm sleeping with them.
Same room.
I'll stay with Pim.
Layla is sleeping with the twins.
I will sleep forever.
Yeah.
Okay. Does Doc just have her own room?
Well, I guess so.
Doc's like, I'll take that one, and everyone else is pairing
I thought we
up.
only had 3.
Yeah, so it's like
3,
That's
1.
right.
yeah, 3 and 1.
It doesn't make any sense, but somehow Doc's like, oh,
Okay.
okay.
Earlier,
dope.
Doctor Sh-
Everyone's like, do you guys remember when Doc just shot that bird?
Yeah, I
And everyone's
don't
like,
want to
also,
spend the night with
do you
her
guys
anymore.
remember when Layla just shot that wasp?
Multiple and just burn one in her hands.
You guys all go to sleep and start to sleep for the night.
Well, no, he had a look on his
Gotta look
face.
at what time
it's the
it is.
Max look.
Doc, you are getting ready for bed in whatever way a dragonborn does, and you kind of look out the window.
Moving my chainmail.
You kind of look out the window very briefly, and it looks like your window actually looks out into the forest. And very, very briefly, there is a standing in between some of the forest in the front row. Her skin is kind of chalky white, like black markings, almost like an aspen tree, like the bark of an aspen tree. And she has hair that looks like the green leaves of an aspen tree. It's just kind of blowing in the air, and she just kind of She just kind of raises up a little hand.
Well, that's definitely Caleb. Yeah.
She just kind of raises up a little hand to you, like she sees you. And you blink, and she is right here.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
How did that shit scared me. Like inches from your face, and you just, she's in here with us. And you blink again, and there's just green leaves blowing in the room, and you are alone.
Hello! This is Caitlin. I play Dr. Doxy, or Dr. Doxy PhD, the Dragonborn Ranger. Thank you so much for tuning into the 3rd episode of Adventures in Questing. We have been so thrilled with the feedback and support we've gotten so far. We release new episodes every Tuesday, and we hope to see you back next week. To keep up with our adventures and find out what happens next, make sure to subscribe to our show wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also follow us on social media for updates and behind-the-scenes photos and videos. Our Twitter is ADVInQuesting, and you can also find us on Adventures in Questing on Facebook and Instagram. If you like the show, tell a friend. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time on Adventures in Questing.